And the first thing you start changing is what? Your philosophy. You start changing your mind. You start changing how you think. You start picking up new ideas and information. Gather new knowledge. Make better decisions about what's valuable. And I'm telling you, if you'll do that, your whole life will change. Your health will change. Your relationship with your family will change. Your ability to cope with challenges and problems will change. I'm telling you, income, promotions, all of it will change. If you will change, it'll all change. If you won't change, it isn't going to change. You can keep your fingers crossed if you want to and hope they'll straighten it out. You can wish for the wind not to blow quite as severe, but I'm telling you, wishing for the wind to change in your favor, we call naive at best. Don't do this any longer. Wish for a better wind. The key is to wish for the wisdom to set a better sail. Utilize whatever wind it blows to take you wherever you want to go. That is the philosophy I picked up at age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life. And here's what I found. I found it was easy. I got rich by the time I was 31, and it was easy. Now, here's my definition of easy. Got to jot this down. My definition of easy, meaning something I could do. I figure if it's something you can do, it's easy. Now, here's a parenthesis. Parenthesis. I worked hard at it. I found something I could do, which was easy, but I worked hard at it. I got up early and stayed up late, worked hard that 6 years. But what I did was easy, meaning it was something I could do. You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if it was so easy, how come everybody else around you during that 6 years, how come they didn't get rich? Here's why. It's easy not to. How else would you describe it? That's it. You say, no. For all of the rest of them, it was hard for them and it was easy for you. That's not true. You couldn't debate me on that in front of this intelligent audience. But here's the challenge. Let me give it to you in a philosophical phrase. I tend to be a little philosophical. Here it is. The things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. That's the difference between success and failure. So you've got the choice here today of one of two easies. Easy to or what? Easy not to. I can give you in one sentence how I got rich by the time I was 31. Here it is in one sentence. I did not neglect to do the easy things I could do every day for 6 years. Underline. I did not neglect. That's the key. I found something easy I could do that led to fortune, and I did not neglect to do it. Major reason for not having everything you want in America. Major reason for not having more of what you want in America. More health, more money, more power, more influence, more everything. Major reason why you don't get it. Simple answer. Neglect. Neglect. And here's the problem with neglect. It starts as an infection. And if you don't take care of it, it becomes a disease. And here's what else is the problem. One neglect leads to another. Neglect to do wise things with your money, you'll probably neglect to do wise things with your time. Neglect to do wise things with your time, you'll probably neglect to do wise things with your business. One leads to another, leads to another. Pretty soon, neglect has you by the throat, emptying your purse, emptying your heart, emptying all of your chances for equities and power and all the good things. Neglect. What if you should be walking around the block every day for your good health and you don't? I'm telling you, you're on the wrong track. You should do it, you could do it, you don't do it. That's called formula for disaster. All you've got to do is let that and a few other things accumulate for 6 years, and now you're driving what you don't want to drive, wearing what you don't want to wear, living where you don't want to live, doing what you don't want to do, maybe having become what you really didn't want to become. I'm telling you, that's it. Just neglect along, drift along, and it's got you by the throat. It'll take all your values, leave you with just a little bit of dust in a summer wind, and it'll soon be gone. I hope I said that well. That's it. It's where I found myself at age 25 until my teacher came along and said, Mr. Rohn, up till now you've messed up. Let's see if we can't clean that up, change it all. I did. Changed my life. Not just the money, all the rest of the values that came pouring in when I understood that it was me. It was me. So take the easy approach. This stuff's easy to figure out. Getting rich is easy. I teach it to teenagers. How to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright. This stuff is not difficult. A lot of it's going to be in my new book for the kids. Kids should pay taxes. I love to teach kids enterprise. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. We can teach kids profits. I teach kids enterprise, all kinds. I teach kids how to have 2 bicycles, one to ride and one to rent. I mean, it doesn't take long to get into business if you're halfway bright. And I teach them the philosophy, the difference between communism and capitalism. All teenagers ought to appreciate the difference between communism and capitalism. For the last 75 years, communism taught capital belongs in the hands of the state, not in the hands of the people. For all these years, we've taught what? Ridiculous. Capital belongs in the hands of the people, not in the hands of the state. Communism taught, no. Individual people are too dumb and stupid to know what to do with capital. So you've got to take capital away from all the dumb, stupid people and give it to the all-wise, all-knowing state. And let the state run everything, and let the dumb, stupid people show up for their work assignment. That was communism. No wonder they devastated everything they touched. But finally the walls came tumbling down. Communism taught, all glory to the state, the individual doesn't matter. We've taught all these years what? It's the individual that matters. Let the state be the servant of the individuals, not the individuals the servant of the state. What a difference in what? Philosophy. The power that's made America great, what it is today, is money in the hands of the kids, the people. That's where it is. So, all glory to the people. Let the state be the servant. In fact, we delight in calling them what? Public servants. Kids are so excited when they finally discover how many servants they got. Somebody to what? Stay awake while you sleep. So what? So you can sleep well. The Army doesn't sleep while you sleep. The Navy doesn't sleep. The Air Force doesn't sleep. How come they stay awake all night? So you can sleep all night. So you got to pay 7 pennies. Philosophy. Simple, basic, easy philosophy. And I'm telling you, it's easy stuff. Can't get any easier than that. A few simple things practiced every day. You can change your health and change your life. Okay? Easy. What should a child do with $1? I mean, it's fairly easy to figure out. If you just stop and think about it for a while, what should a child do with $1? I teach that. Part of it's on my new video I've got. In fact, part of my new video is for teenagers. What should a child do with $1? You won't believe the difference in philosophy. Here's one philosophy. It's only a child and it's only $1. What difference does it make? Wow, what a philosophy. It's only a child and it's only $1. Where do you suppose everything starts for the future? Here's where it starts. A child with $1. You say, well, they're only a child once, let them spend it all. Well, when would you hope that would stop? You say, well, wait till they're 50 and broke like me and then they'll change. No. Do you want them to wind up like you? And the answer is no. So we got to teach them a better philosophy. If the child wants to spend the whole $1, with everything you've got to persuade him not to spend it all. Kid says, what, I earned it all, it's my $1, I'm going to spend it all. Say, no, don't spend it all. They'll say, what? Why not? So, best way is to show them why not. Kids learn best by visual. Put them in your car, take them to the other side of town, and show them where people live that spend the whole $1. I'm telling you, they'll get the message. Just drive them around and say, would you like to live here? Kid says, no. Would you like to live like these people live? Kid says, no way. Then you can't spend the whole $1. I'm telling you, they'll get the message. So, take them to the other side of town. Unless you already live there, and then just show them around. This stuff's easy. Hey, it's too easy to figure out why people go broke, and it's too easy to figure out how people get rich. It's too easy. You don't need spooky voodoo. Just need truth. Just need the facts. By the way, I do believe in affirmation. I must correct that. I do believe in affirmation. Here's how. Only if you affirm the truth. Ancient phrase says what? The truth will set you free. Free to correct your old errors in philosophy. Set up some new disciplines to change your life. That's what the truth is for. So I do believe in affirming the truth, of course. If you're broke, best thing to affirm is, I am broke. You put that up on the refrigerator where you can see it every day. Where your kids can see it. Now, if you need reaffirmation, you just add this. I'm 40 and broke. I mean, that'll do it. If you need one more, here it is. I live in America, and I'm 40 and broke. That'll be enough to change your life. All we need is some truth that says what? You've messed up. That's what my teacher said after 6 years. Mr. Rohn, let's go over a few things. Found out what? I'd messed up. He said, but I'm not going to leave you there. Let me show you how to change the next 6 years totally from the last 6, if you're interested. Some people aren't interested. They don't want to work this hard. They specialize in happy hour. Not interested in this stuff. But if you are interested, there's some ways to change it all. Just a few simple things if you do not neglect. Do not neglect. For your good health, there isn't 1,000 things. My father will be 90 his next birthday. He's been healthy all of his life. Mama taught us well. I passed the big 5-0. A few years back, I've never been ill. Mama taught us well. I got 2 daughters, 32 and 33. They've never been ill. 2 grandkids, all healthy. Mama taught us well. Few simple things practiced every day. I was with my father not long ago. We're getting ready about midnight to go to bed up on the farm. My father at midnight has what he calls, before he goes to bed, he has what he calls his midnight snack. A little bite to eat before you go to bed so you don't have to go to bed hungry. He likes that. And I'm watching my father eat this midnight snack. Guess what he's having? An apple and a few graham crackers and a glass, I think, of grapefruit juice. I said, no wonder Papa's healthy. Mama taught us all that. An apple, what? Right? That's gotten to Southern California, right? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I've got a good question for this intelligent audience. Here it is. What if that's true? You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if that's true, that would be easy to do. Then what is the problem? The problem is what? It's easy not to do. Or the guy messed up the saying. Guy says, a Hershey bar a day. Say, no, you've been watching too much television. It's not Hershey bar. And if you lack refinement in your philosophy and intelligence to fall for the Hershey bar and substitute it for an apple, I'm telling you, you've got to be satisfied with your own poor health. Cardiovascular disaster, 6 years from now. I'm telling you, it's not outside. Outside is the wind that blows. Inside is your ability to set a sail if you're interested. Set such a sail that pretty soon you could care less about any wind that blows because you've got it figured out and you're on the road for ideas and information that'll change and refine your philosophy and give you the best chance to do well. That's it. The first piece of the 5 major pieces. And this stuff is easy. I'm telling you, it's easy. I got one more down here now. Here's number 3. Number 1, observe what's happening. Number 2, listen. Find voices of value and spend some time. Here's number 3. Read all the books. I got no substitute for reading all the books. Mr. Schultz got me started on this discipline back when I was 25 years old. Started me on my library for success. I've now got one of the better libraries. If you were to walk in my library today, here's what you would say. This is the library of a serious student. That's what you would say. Now, when people walk in your library from now on, here's what I want them to be able to say. This is the library of a serious student. Schultz taught me to keep journals. Here's what he said. Good phrase to take home. Don't trust your memory. Bonnie talked about that this morning. Don't trust your memory. Jot it all down. I'm trying to get kids hooked like me. Be a buyer of empty books. Kids find it interesting. I'd buy an empty book with nothing in it. Especially at my station in life. What did I pay for this one? $26. Kids find that really interesting. I'd pay $26 for an empty book. Kids say, why would you do that? And I said, to prompt me to go searching and looking till I find something worth $26 to put in here. Now, all of my journals are private. But if you happen to get a hold of one of my journals, you would not look very far and read this stuff until you would say, hey, this is worth a lot more than $26. No wonder Mr. Rohn's healthy. Look at his journals. No wonder he gets to travel around the world. Look at his library. No wonder she's a strong mother. Look at her journals. No wonder she's got the answers for her family. Look at her library. No wonder she's got it together. No wonder he's powerful. No wonder he's rich. Look at his journals. Look at his library. This is where it all starts. I'm asking you to do that. You got to read the books. You got to have a library. Now, I haven't read everything in my library, but I feel smarter just walking in it. At least I was smart enough to buy it all. Now I got to be smart enough, right, to follow through, make sure I get it read, study, practice, sort through it, make my own decisions on what's valuable, and go do it so that my enterprises for the future will take on more value, more structure, more equities. My health, my life, my future, my relationship with my family, all the rest will improve and change. I'm asking you, here's the key phrase: be a serious student. Develop your library. Shof got me started. He said, have you got a Bible? I said, well, yes. He said, well, that's 66 books. I felt better about that. My parents made sure I was a pretty good scholar by the time I was 18. 66 books. Here's a couple of books Shof recommended. One was called Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon wrote a classic. Think and Grow Rich. Shof said, doesn't that title intrigue you, Mr. Rohn? I said, yes, sir. He said, wouldn't you have to get that book, Think and Grow Rich? I said, yes, sir. So I started looking for it. I found it in a used bookstore. It's where I had to start. I paid less than 50 cents for it. I've still got it. It's one of the rare hardback covers. Started me on the road to recovery. Some of the ideas in that book changed my life. Now, it's got some weird stuff in it. You know, Napoleon was part weird. So you got to separate out some of the weird stuff. Okay? Unless you're weird, just do the weird stuff. Doesn't matter. Here's another book I use as a textbook to teach teenagers how to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright. Part of it's going to be in my new book. A little book called The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. C-L-A-S-O-N. This little book helped me become a millionaire by the time I was 31. That's why I teach it to kids. As a textbook. Let me give you some key points about this little book. Richest Man in Babylon. Here they are for your notes. Number one, it's easy to find. I'm telling you, it's easy to find. The average bookstore's got it. If they haven't got it, guess what? They can get it for you. This little book is easy to find. Here's number two. It's easy to buy. This little book is easy to find. Here's number two. It's easy to buy. I'm telling you, this stuff's easy. You don't need ocean waves and seagulls. This stuff's too easy. The most you can pay for this little book is about $5, $6, $7. Okay? You can borrow that from your kids. $5, $6, $7. And number three, you've already guessed what? It's easy to read. It's in story form. That's why I use it for teenagers, teaching wealth by 40, 35 if you're extra bright, much sooner if you find a unique opportunity. You can read it in 2 or 3 evenings. If you get inspired, you could read it in one evening. Lord, I hope some out of this audience would get inspired, read it in one evening, because I want to listen to the future stories. But here's number 4, and this will explain all I've been trying to talk to you about up until now. Here's point number 4. It's easy not to look for this little book. Make sure you jot that down. That's this whole part of this first part of the seminar. It's easy not to look for this little book. Doesn't that explain everything? Yes. I've now lectured, and I think I've recommended this little book to all of them, over 3 million people in the last 33 years, formally, by satellite and by every other means. And I've recommended this little book. Guess how many have actually gone and found it? Answer, very few. Here's my best guess, about 10%. You say, well, Mr. Rohn, why wouldn't the other 90% go find this little book? Answer, we don't know. What do you know? You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Here's my best answer. My most profound philosophical phrase. Here it is. Some do and some don't. I mean, that's how profound this stuff is. About 10% do and about 90% couldn't be bothered. They're specializing in happy hour, but not the wisdom of the world, change their life, change their health, and change their future. But now here's my advice to you, and I came all the way from my home. Instead of spending a day with my family today, I came to spend it with you. To ask this of you. Personally, walk away from the 90%. Don't talk like they talk. Don't act like they act. Don't go where they go. Don't read what they read. Walk away from the 90% and join the 10% who go find this little book. I've recommended it to so many people over the last 33 years that have made fortunes. Fortunes. Some of them staggering fortunes once they read this little book. So join the 10%. Guess how many people have a library card in America? How much is a library card in your community? Free. Here's what free is. Easy. It doesn't get any easier than free. Somebody says, well, would you bring it by? Well, no, you've at least got to go get it. Here's how many people have a library card. Wisdom of the world available. Change any part of your life you want changed. Get all the information you could possibly use for a lifetime. 3%. 97% couldn't be bothered. They don't stop in the library. They drive by. Andrew Carnegie thought they were all going to stop in. That's why he built all those libraries all across America. No, they don't stop in. They drive by. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Walk away from the 97%. Don't use their vocabulary. Don't use their excuses. Don't use their method of drift and neglect. Won't even walk around the block for their health. Won't even eat an apple a day. Won't even take the time to refine their philosophy for a better life. Walk away and join the 3%. Guess how many people can retire from the income of their own personal resources when it comes time to retire? Answer, 5%. In America, 5% of the people are independent. 95% are dependent. Take charge of your own retirement, you can multiply it at least by 5. Let the government take care of it, some company take care of it, you got to divide by 5. I'm asking you, take charge of your own retirement. Take charge of your own life. It happens to be one of the titles of my own cassette program, Take Charge of Your Own Life. That's what we've talked about here all morning. Take charge of your own day. Don't have days like most people have. You'll wind up broke and poor. Pennies, no treasures. Trinkets, no values. Change it all. And it starts as simple as an apple a day. It starts as simple as the first book of your new library. It starts as simple as the first journal that you get, and make the first entry that when people see it will say, this is the beginning of a study of a serious student. They're going to be healthy. They're going to be powerful. They're going to be rich. They're going to have it all. Look, they've committed themselves to a whole new journey. I'm asking you to do that. But what's easy to do is what? Easy not to do. But walk away from the 90%. Walk away from the 97%. Walk away from the 95%. Don't go where they go. Don't do what they do. Don't talk like they talk. Develop you a whole new language. Be part of the few. Guess when I went and got this little book, Richest Man in Babylon? Guess when I went and got it? The same day I heard about it. I went and got it. Somebody says, well, Mr. Rohn, does that make you different than most everybody else? And the answer is yes. Somebody says, well, why is that? We don't know. What do we know? You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. All we know is some get the spark and say, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my health. I'm going to change my relationship with my family. I'm going to change everything. And if it starts with an apple, if it starts with a walk around the block, if it starts with a book, if it starts with a journal, whatever it starts with, I'm a candidate. I'm ready to go and change my life. I invite you on that journey. Once you look back on it, you will never turn back. You'll never go back to the old ways and the old language and the old neglect. Never. Cardiovascular problems alone in America create over 1,000 funerals a day. And 70% of it is neglect. I'm asking you not to hope they're going to fix this out here next year so that you'll be healthier. I'm asking you to pick up some new disciplines so that you will be healthier. Drive yourself to do it. Book by book, entry by entry. It's all available for you. Now, let me tell you what to put in your library. Number one, your listening library. This gives me a chance for a little commercial here. Just a little commercial. Your listening or your viewing library. I'm sorry, number one is your viewing library. I've got a lot of old videos that were filmed for the 2-day and my 1-day seminars, but they're sort of ancient. And now we've come up with a brand new version. It's about 4.5 hours, and one of the major subjects in here for kids is how to be rich by 40-35. 4.5 hours, your viewing library, right? Especially for kids sometimes. It's easier for them to watch than it is for them to listen or to read. So this is a good place to start. Video library, 4.5 hours, about 1,100 people, 3 cameras. It's nice. I'm really proud of it. Here's number 2, your listening library. Turn your car into a mobile classroom. I've got a 2-day seminar that I do every once in a while. We'll do a couple probably next year. But if you can't get to the 2-day seminar, here's the volumes because it's been recorded, Volume 1 and Volume 2, listening library. Then here's number 3, your reading library. Now, I've only got 3 books, so my books don't make a library. But all I want them to do is to make a contribution. Because if you'd like to go through this stuff that we're covering today again, one of the best ways is by cassette. Maybe have the book to read. Books are mobile, portable. They can be sent somewhere. They can go somewhere. Read the books. You got to read the books. Here's a good phrase to take home. What you don't read won't help. The book you miss might cost you a fortune. You say, well, how much is it? Well, it isn't what it costs. It's what it costs if you don't have it. That's the big cost.